I have a really hard time trusting people. And I thought there was something wrong with me for a long time because, like, I look at everyone and it seems like they can kind of just trust people immediately. Then you have those people who preach trusting people until they have a reason to distrust them, which it seems like that should be right, and I want to understand that, but I just don't. I just don't. I have a really high bar for trusting people, I guess. But now, I think I understand why, because I've sat and I've thought with this for a while, and it makes sense. It's very logical. So we're going to go over my kind of philosophy, I guess, for how to trust someone, I guess. So first, I feel like there's an obvious question we need to ask. What makes someone we can trust? And the way I'm going to answer this is first with a story and then with some questions, I guess. So I think there's an obvious question that we can ask ourselves, which is what makes someone we can trust? And to answer this, I'm going to share a story about my life. So I had a questionable business partnership last year. It only lasted like 2-ish months, but our agreement was honestly bad. It was not well thought out. It was not thoughtful. It was problematic. And we both realized it as time went on. I was giving up much too large of a cut of something I'd built and was doing a lot of the driving force for. Now, if it played out like we thought it was going to play out, it probably would have been an okay agreement. I don't know if it was perfect. But things came up, life got in the way, and basically I was doing a larger portion of the work than I was getting paid for. And we both felt this. Like, it wasn't malicious in the slightest. It was just a poor contract. And I posted this video that did really, really, really well, right? One of my best videos. And in this time, the agreement was that we would basically split the revenue from the videos. But this video, I made it while I was at home. I was visiting home, not with my business partner, and I made this video with just my camera. I had no tripod. I didn't have him. I edited it myself, like I wrote it. I did 100% of the work. He didn't even know this video was happening, right? Which, that's fine. I mean, that's how the videos work. But it was within the contract to split it. Now, obviously that's somewhat problematic. The contract is problematic, but it makes sense to split it because it's in the contract. However, we ended up disbanding the contract a little while later because we both agreed, we're like, this isn't working. I really like you as a friend. I really respect you as a business partner. And to this day, he's one of my closest friends. There's so much mutual respect between us. And we kind of both go out of the way to make each other's lives better because of this, honestly. But we're breaking up the contract, and we're, deciding where the money goes afterward, because the videos we made together were still making money at the time from views. Not a crazy amount, but, money, some. And that got resolved. We stuck to the split for all the stuff we'd worked before, but he was like, this video that I know cranked, that you made, him talking to me, that I made in California, he's like, we're not splitting this. Like, I did no work for this video. It wasn't even shot at my house or anything. Like, take all, like, this is you. And the reason he's one of the people I trust the most is because he was within the law, like legally bound, almost, to kind of get one over on me, right? To take advantage of that situation. It's only for like $1,000, but still, to take advantage of that situation, there's money on the line, right? There's something in it for him to take the better end of that. And I can't even be mad. I mean, obviously resentment would build, but legally, I couldn't be mad because it's within the law and it makes sense. And still, he chose to go above that and say, no, this is wrong. We made a bad agreement and we shouldn't suffer from, you shouldn't suffer from that part of that for work you entirely did. And moving forward in our relationship, my mentor needed an editor, right? And so I recommended him. I spoke the truth about him, which was speaking really highly because he's a great dude. And we've given each other all these wonderful opportunities because we have such a great, deep, trusting relationship, because we've kind of both seen each other at our worst, and we've both had opportunities to kind of not help the other person and be totally reputable within the law to do that. And both of us went out of our way and took the short-term loss to make it better for the other person. This thing just occurred to me about this thought. And because I was thinking, I was walking, and I was like, I guess people choose, like if they choose the relationship over self-preservation in the short term, then that's how you know you can trust someone. But I was thinking to myself, because I generally try to choose the relationship or the long-term thing over, like the long-term reputation, I guess, over short-term wins. But it's still self-preservation. It's just longer self-preservation. So really it's like a manifestation of delayed gratification. It always comes back to the marshmallow test, to delayed gratification. If you don't know what the marshmallow test is, it's worth checking out. It's cool. Anyway, it's still self-preservation. It's just whether people are choosing long-term preservation or short-term preservation. But it's as people, I think it's still always about us. You know, it's just, is it about us now or is it about us in the long term? That was an interesting thought that I feel like should be included in this video. Okay, anyway, back to the main part. So he's someone I trust to tell me the truth and to do the right thing in pretty much any circumstance. And now it's time to think about what qualities this person that we trust has. For me, it's him. For you, it could be whoever. But what qualities do they have? He's not always nice to me. You know, he does not always preserve my feeling. In fact, if it's, he never preserves my feelings unless he's saying something that is good, like that feels good. He never goes out of the way to make it feel good. He's just straight up and honest. And I think that's what a friend actually is. It's not someone who is always nice to you. It's someone who is real with you. And he's real with me all the time, and me to him as well. And so when I apply this filter to other people in my life that I trust, like my dad, my best friend Nathaniel, my friend Josh, all these people, right? A very common trait is that they're not always nice, right? If they need to put a hammer down, they'll put a hammer down. They'll be honest with you, even if it's something you don't want to hear. And so I think for you to really trust someone, I don't think they can always be nice. Now, this is maybe a flawed argument because there's a lot of other qualities that these people share that have nothing to do with them being trustworthy, like the fact that they are men. I mean, maybe I am a man, so I trust men a little more than women, and women probably trust women a little more than men because generally there's not an ulterior motive, like you want to have sex with them or whatever. But for the most part, it is somewhat a flawed argument, but my point still stands because I'm going to use it because it backs up my point, and it makes sense, and it's true. And now I'm going to think about, like, what qualities does this person have? What qualities do these people have? And you too, please. But the people in your life that you do trust, they don't always tell me what I want to hear. They will tell me the truth, even when it's inconvenient, and they will be my friend even when it's inconvenient. They will be on my side even when I do something arguably shitty. For example, my best friend Nathaniel has been with me through every mini social scandal in my life. Like, we all have them growing up. You're gonna have people turn against you at some point. And there have been a lot of times, we've been best friends since 4th grade. There's been a lot of times that it's been very inconvenient to be my friend. And he has been my friend and on my side every single time. And he's not blindly on my side. Like, he'll hear the whole story and form his own opinion. But even when it's inconvenient, even when people are against me, even when it's maybe not a great look to be my friend, like when I started making videos, it was cringe as hell, he still chose to be on my side, believe in me, and be my friend. And I believe that is a quality of someone you can trust, is that even when it's inconvenient, they choose A, the right thing, B, you, but only you if you're doing the right thing. Really, when it's inconvenient, they choose to do the right thing. Now, if we think about people we don't trust, I have some people I can think of. I'm sure you do too. What qualities do they have? Like, what makes us not trust someone? And they're kind of inverse. It's like if they're nice all the time, you think they're hiding something. You know, I have people who have never said anything that's upset me, never hurt me at all, never been on, never dug their teeth in and really said something I didn't want to hear. And I don't know if I entirely trust them. In fact, I know that I don't. Right? I need, I think, people to put me through a little bit of hell so I can know that they're being themselves, because I don't think anyone gets along 100%. I think it's very rare. I think if you're going to have a true friendship with someone, they're going to hurt you. And I think you just have to be okay with that, because if they're hurting you to hurt you, that's not good. But if they're hurting you because it's who they are, and it's just a little aspect that you disagree on, or they're being honest with you, if they're hurting you for your benefit, that's what real friendship is, I think you have to accept that. And other qualities a person you don't trust has is they're not honest, right? Maybe they talk behind your back. Maybe they talk shit to you. Because if someone talks shit to you, they talk shit to everybody. That's a slippery slope to go down. That's why you never talk shit, because if you talk shit to someone, you talk shit about everyone. Kind of. I mean, that's not like entirely true, but I think it's probably best to not talk shit. It makes you feel a lot more trustworthy. It makes you trust yourself a lot more. No one likes a shit talker. No one can trust a shit talker. And a final quality that people I don't trust have, or I guess don't have, is a clear motive. Right? Because there are people who I believe just want to be friends with me for what I have or what I do, which at least you know why, and it's honest. And if they tell you that straight up, if you say, I'm in this as a business partnership, I'm in this for business, like, it's totally trustworthy. They're being honest with you. You can tell the truth. You can understand the truth. However, if there are some people who I think are in it just for what I do, who I am, whatever, like business, monetary, fame-wise, and they don't say it, and there's something that feels off. And they have the other two traits as well. They're they maybe don't stand up for themselves. They're not entirely honest with me. They're kind of afraid to hurt my feelings, so in case I won't like them. And I just don't trust those people, right? But when you have someone with clear motives, and what makes a clear motive is not saying the motive, it's acting in alignment with it. Right, when you have someone who has a motive, says they have a motive, and acts in alignment, because their actions say much more about them than their words do. Actions are very loud and words meaningless, completely meaningless. People can say anything. When you have someone who says they want something, says they're there for something, and acts like it too, and their actions line up with their words, then you can trust them. But if their actions don't line up with their words, believe their actions. And finally, what qualities does someone you don't trust have? This is the qualities they do have. They probably shit talk to some degree. They're probably somewhat dishonest. Maybe they don't show up to things they said they were going to show up to. Maybe they're nice all the time. Maybe they're afraid to hurt your feelings, because if you never hurt anyone's feelings, you're not being honest with them. I don't know. I'm going to leave this one more up to you guys to think about, because I have my own, but I think I've touched on all of them pretty thoroughly, and I don't think there's more for me to say. But there is more for you to think. So I think my conclusion for why it's difficult to trust people is that you operate somewhat logically. You need reasons to trust them. You need to believe that they are who they say they are, and they're doing what they say they want to do, and they're doing what they want to do. And the way you believe that is by seeing it, right? It's by seeing how they act, seeing what they say, seeing how they treat people, and understanding it, and like seeing proof that they are truthful. That's how you trust someone, right? If they have a reason to screw you over, and they say they're on your side, and it becomes very convenient to screw you over, it becomes very convenient to not be your friend, it becomes very convenient to take advantage of you, but they say you're their friend, that's when you find out if they're telling the truth. Because if someone's actually a friend, they won't take advantage of you. If they actually do the right thing, they'll do the right thing. They won't get shady. They won't take the one up, even though it's there, even though it's convenient, because they value the long-term relationship, and they value the long-term quality of trust over the short-term gain. And I think that is when you know someone is actually worth your time and someone is actually trustworthy. It sucks because you have to be at their mercy to truly trust someone. Like your parents, when they had you probably weren't convenient. I know I wasn't. They could have just abandoned me. They could have just put me up for adoption, but they didn't. I think that's when you really trust someone, when they have every reason to go against you and they still don't. I think that's what real trust means. And I think the reason we maybe don't trust people is because there's very few people who have had every reason to go against us. A lot of times it's convenient to be nice to people. It's convenient to be their friend. But it's hard to be honest. It's hard to do the right thing. And when they choose that above the immediate gratification and the convenience now, I think that's when you know you can trust someone. Thank you to everyone who has done that for me. You know who you are.